So how long have you been creating for?
Um, God, when was that? That was years ago. Um, I'd say since about 2017, 2016, 2017 is how long I've actually been. Like, that was whenever I first started. And then I'm just now starting to kind of get back into it within the past year or two
Okay, cool.
because I just really took a lot of time away from it between For the Children and I think Mortem was the next thing that I did.
Hmm.
There was like a 1 or 2 year gap between those two things. And there was actually even probably about, it took me probably about a year, year and a half just to get through For the Children because I worked on it so irregularly.
Right. And I noticed, and I don't know if the same goes for you, but suffering from issues like depression, anxiety, and stuff like that, it's hard. It's once you get going, it's easy to keep going. But the biggest mountain you have to climb is getting started.
Oh gosh, it's that cancel culture. Have you heard about that?
Oh yeah,
It's basically a self-cancel culture.
it's exactly
I'll
what it is. It's
I'll be
exactly
like,
what
I'm
it
gonna
is.
write today, and then I'll go to write, and I'll be like, you know what I could do instead? I could take a nap, and then I'll take a nap,
Yep, yep.
and
It's
I'll feel great.
yep. And then you've lost 3 months down the line, and you're going, "Oh shit,
Yeah, I've
where
got
am I
nothing.
at with that? Where am I at with
That's
that?"
that's why I don't think I could be one of those authors where someone gives you 50 grand and says, "Hey, write a book. Just use this to live on," or something like that. And as much as I'd like that, they'd never get their book.
Exactly, exactly. Like I had said
That
before, I lost a whole year due to just depression and exhaustion and stuff. And I had in my head, I swear to God, I thought that I had finished that first issue. I had everything done on it. I was ready to go. I just needed it lettered and colored. And
yeah,
then you look and you go, "Oh shit, I've only got half done. I've got a whole
yeah,
other half of this thing to fucking write.
and that's
What
the
am I gonna do?"
worst when you're editing your own stuff. If you don't sit down and edit through the whole thing repeatedly, in my at least in my experience, if you just edit half of it and then go and edit the next half of it later, you end up editing that first half while you're editing the second half, and then you got to edit the whole thing anyway because it's just you change so much as a person and in your perspective in the 3 or 4 months between when you edited that first half and when you edited the second half.
Yeah,
So that's one of the reasons that I said that most of those are second or third drafts is because I just kind of get through it and I'm like, look, if I keep going at this, it's not going to be the same story anymore. It's
um,
just going to be different. And that's why a lot of them lack the imagery and stuff of For the Children, like the visceral imagery,
mhm.
is because I did not have the time to properly edit them.
Yeah, yeah. Um, it's one of those things. Again, it's just you lose time and you lose focus,
Yeah,
and by the time you're ready to work, you kind of got everything piled on to you because it's so. For me, it's like I put it off, I put it off, I put it off, I put it off, and then I find a reason to write as an escape from my day to day life when things
yeah,
get heavy. And now it's like, oh, I want to write now, but I've got 5 minutes a day to write, you
right,
know?
yeah. I want to get out of here, but I can't,
Right,
basically.
right. Um, and so, I mean, yeah, the next question was, what are some of the pitfalls you've encountered? And I think that's a pretty damn good pitfall. Is
Yeah,
having that depression sink of just derailing that creative train.
right, yeah. And sometimes it's not just that you want to write but can't. It's that you don't want to write because you think, well, there's so much other stuff that I could be doing.
Right.
Like I could be doing something to make money. I could be doing my laundry. I could be cleaning my house. Instead, I'm just gonna sit there with my cats and type some words.
Yeah.
It's just it with with the with how much perspective sometimes you have on yourself if you've got a mental illness and you've really accepted that you have one and you really look into it, you gain a lot of self perspective
Right.
that allows you to have these really kind of sad thoughts of, well, I could do this or I could be
Uh-oh. Did I lose you?
instead.
Oh, there you go. You're
And
back.
and you, did you lose me?
For like a blip, but you're
Okay.
back. Um,
Okay. So,
okay, so then a question to lead into that would be, you know, what what kind of ways have you found to hurdle those pitfalls to kind of, more or less force yourself to write, because Charlie had said in the chat that to be serious and to um to really get yourself in the zone is setting a goal of 500 to 1,000 words a day kind of thing and kind of adhering to it. And actually,
yeah.
uh, Charlie, I'm sure he won't mind me talking about it, but he actually suffered from bipolar disorder as well. And
Yeah, it's hard.
it is, and I can tell you right now, watching him write and forcing himself to do it is a fucking journey. It's awesome watching him do that. But what kind of ways did you do? What did you use to kind of motivate yourself to write?
Um, well, part of it was I'm very much a perfectionist person and I don't like to do something if I don't think I'm good at it. Uh, and so it's one of the reasons that I haven't learned another language is because I just am not good at learning. But what I do is I try to think of all the times that these people that I have shown what I've done to have told me, this is good. I want more. I want more. I wanted this to be longer. Give me more.
Yep.
And so I try to think of, well, there is an audience for me. There is at least someone that wants me to do this, possibly more than I want myself to do this. And so what I'll do is I will uh, occasionally tell someone, uh, hey, I'm working on something new. Hey, I'm working on this. Hey, I'm working on that story. And every so often they'll ask me, how's it going? And I'll have to come up with an answer for them. And I hate having the answer of, it's okay.
Yeah,
And not having done anything. So a
that's
lot
the
of
worst.
times, the easiest thing for me to do is to make other people hold me accountable for my own words. And the easiest way to do that is to tell my wife that I'm going to do it. And then she'll ask me why I'm not doing it.
Yep.
And I better do it. Or she's going to be like, you need to be a man of your word and this and that. And not to rag on my wife, it's just she really wants me to be the best version of myself that I can be.
Right.
And so when I'm not doing that, she actively lets me know, hey, I know you can be better because I've seen better from you. And so I'll tell her, hey, I'm going to write tonight. And she'll say, okay, when? And I'll say, this time. She'll say, how long? And I'll say, I don't know. And she's like, well, how many words do you think you're going to do? And I'll say, I don't know. And she'll be like, I bet you can put out like 500 words. I bet you can do like 500 words, 200 words,
Yep.
something like that. And I'll get to where she's kind of put me, and I'll at that point I'm like, oh, done. But then I keep going because I want to.
Right.
So that's one of the reasons. That's one of the ways that I get over that hurdle of not wanting to start is by having someone else being expectant of me.
And that helps out a lot. Before my fiance came around, I had Charlie kind of pushing me a little bit. Every now and then I'd get a text message, "Hey man, how's the comic book going? How's it going? How far along are you? How's it working?"
Yeah,
And then my fiance, it's, we talk about it and she's like, you're really good at it. This is something I really think is going to be big. I think you're going to it's going to work really well. And it's, oh, are you working on it? Where are you at now? How much longer do you have? What else do you got going on? What's your next steps? And it's good to have. I don't know if you've ever seen that episode of SpongeBob where Squidward is in charge of the Krusty Krab and he keeps slacking off, and SpongeBob always, when he walks back into the Krusty Krab, SpongeBob goes, "Have you finished those errands?" It's good to have that person that's there behind you going, "Have you finished those errands? Have you finished those errands?"
It is. It's good to have a SpongeBob.
Yeah, yeah. Um,